Welcome back to the Après Business Podcast. Join your host, Rebecca Babicz, founder of Fall Line Digital, as we dive deeper than ever into conversations with the founders, marketers, and innovators shaping the outdoors. Let's jump into today's episode.
Hello, and welcome to the Après Business Podcast. So excited for today's guest, Deanne Buck from BRANWYN. Deanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
So excited to have you. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know who you are, how do you introduce yourself and tell people what you do?
Sure. I am Deanne Buck, and I am the CEO of BRANWYN Performance Innerwear. And so we make seamless merino bras, underwear, leggings for and by women.
Okay, so this is super interesting because you did not found this brand. You came in as CEO. And what made you say yes to this company in this role?
Sure. So the company X had a first life, and that was by this woman, Shauna, who was studying to become a nurse practitioner. And she was super active, surfer, runner, played baseball when she was little. And every time that a woman would come in with a UTI or yeast infection, she would ask her mentor, like, why is this happening? And the woman said, well, it's partly because they're active and because they wear nylon. And if you wear nylon underwear, it can become a petri dish, especially when you work out. And so she started researching. She already wore wool and knew the properties of wool. And so started researching what could be a product that would be helpful for women who are active. And cotton wasn't quite working because it holds moisture, and wool is this wonder product. So she created these seamless merino underwear and then developed a bra to go with it. And she built this company for about 5 years, and it was called Stay Golden. And into her journey, she started having a family and realized that she couldn't take it any further. And so Jeff and Lauren Schaefer bought it from her in 2019. And you can cut out all of this if you want. And
No, it's
I
actually
realized, so they have grown it. We rebranded it BRANWYN. And what attracted me to the position and to the company was, first of all, the underlying ethos of it. It's made by and for women. And our North Star is to support all women in all ways, always. And then it's also has at its ecosystem sustainability. So it has these two North Stars. One is supporting women and one is sustainability. And both of those just run straight to our core. And so when I thought about my next in my career, really being in a company that lived its values, that was committed to an impact, that had these really amazing North Stars for every decision that we make, it was an easy yes.
okay. I love this because actually you have spent many years prior to this role in conservation equity nonprofits. Tell me more about your background and how kind of maybe those things that you learned previous to becoming CEO helped you in your career, and maybe some things that you had to kind of unlearn.
Sure.
Two
So,
questions in one, sorry.
yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I always say my journey has been meandering and never straight. And I think a lot of people are like that with our career, especially if you are passionate and you start to say yes to things and not really knowing how they're all going to fit together, especially early in our career. So I had a law degree, and then realized that it wasn't really for me. Like, I love law, and my clients were all mostly outdoor industry, but that I wanted to contribute to something bigger. And so I moved into the outdoor space, outdoor industry space, and worked for nonprofits, the Axis Fund and the American Alpine Club, and also did some pure conservation work. And that was really important to me because it was part of who I am and the ethos of giving back. I was also always interested in women and equity, and so was fortunate to lead a company called the Outdoor Industry Women's Coalition, which then changed its name to Camber, and that's focus was on elevating women and equity in the outdoor industry. I left that in 2019 and my next move was really around like how do I take everything that I learn and love and start to move into the more for-profit world. And so the bridge for me was working with entrepreneurs in Central Oregon and running the Ben Venture Conference. And so that really gave me a look into the venture side of things, private equity, fundraising, and what entrepreneurship was. And so once this opportunity came about with Jeff and Lauren, it was an easy like step into that. The thing that I didn't know was I had no product experience. So I'd never manufactured product, I'd never developed product. Everything I was selling at the nonprofit level was really a belief or a hope or an impact. And so this was a product and really thinking about what is it that motivates people to purchase and learning that. And then we are direct to consumer only. And so that was a big learning for me as well, the Meta, the Google side of things, and how do we build community and relationship with women through the internet.
I love it. Okay, so CEO for about 6 years, if I did my math right.
No, I've been of this company.
Yes.
Oh, yes. No, I stepped into this role in I took some time off and I stepped into this role in August of 2023. I was
Okay.
the president and then I became the CEO last May.
Got it. Okay, okay. So, when I love that. When you took this role, was there anything that you had to kind of unlearn about like the way like going from nonprofit to a for-profit business? Is there anything that like mentally you had to unlearn, or did everything kind of click right away? It was like, okay, this is a different business. This is a different business model. Or did you, or I guess on that note, were there some things that you're able to like carry with you through that lens?
So I think what was really interesting is stepping into a role where my title was president. And I had to learn a lot. And so really it's having somebody trust me to step into that role without the experience of I had the experience of leadership, but I didn't have the experience of leading a product company. And so very much learning while also trying to be of benefit and lead and learn and knowing when I didn't know something. And so I think for me that was the biggest learning was it was okay not to know. It was okay to just watch. It was okay to learn and I was still adding value. Um so yeah, I think that was probably the biggest challenge that
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to have going into it.
Well, it's so interesting because I feel like everything that I've been reading lately is like actually the skills that you acquired, like you're saying, you already knew how to be a leader, right? Like your leadership skills are your soft skills, and those are actually harder to acquire than your hard skills, which is a P&L or figuring out product margins or how to develop product. Like those are a little bit more of hard skills, but you already had the soft skills, which was how to lead, how to build a team, how to, like you said, uh, you weren't selling a product, you were selling a vision, a hope, a dream, right? So it's like it's super interesting. I love that they took a chance on you because you had those soft skills that are actually so much, they're so like it's like any of us, like we always just think we need, even when I started the agency, it was the same kind of thing. It was like, well, how I'm going to be good at running the agency is I'm going to know everything about Meta. I'm going to know everything about Google. I was like, no, actually, how you're going to be good is that you have to build your leadership skills so that you can hire people who can do that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and anyway, no, I love that they took a chance on you and that's amazing because I'm sure that it's 10x their return already. Um, uh, s- so Branwyn, you guys strategically only focus on women. Like you do not have men's products at all.
Correct.
And you also mentioned this on the last time we talked, like you don't feature men in any of the images or anything like
Mm-mm.
that. Tell me more about why it was really important to stay in this women's focus lane.
Sure. So, having been in the outdoor industry for a long time and seeing the arc of women's products, women's specific products, it really did start with a shrink and pink. a long time ago. I mean, not that long ago, but long enough ago. And then it started turning into there were relationships with the people who were making the fabrics and the technology, and some manufacturers and brands had access to better technology and better fabric, and usually those were the more established companies, and they a lot of times what they were doing early on was women's product was a derivative of the men's product, and sometimes it didn't even have access to the best material. And then if a company was starting up, the same thing would happen. And so Brandwyn's different in that we built products specifically to meet the needs of women and really from the inside out. And so it's merino wool, it's high content, it's the merino wool is wrapped around the nylon and spandex. So it's merino wool that's touching the skin. So that's really important because that's healthy. Then it's seamless, which is this way to make it so that it distributes the weight or the pressure equally around the body, whether it's the underwear or the leggings or the bra. And so that's really important. And then when we think about women and how we keep warm and how we cool off, we think about a base layer in the outdoor, which is next to skin. And most of the time, if you look at base layer, it's about a t-shirt. It's about men and how they use a base layer. And no one was really thinking about like, oh, women's base layer is actually our underwear. Like it is our bra. And that's how we regulate. And so really thinking about Brandwyn from that perspective. And then we're creating bras and underwear, which are basically the most intimate part of a woman's body. And and we're doing it so that women can feel comfortable, so they can feel comfortable in the world, you know, comfortable in their skin. I mean, hopefully they're working on ways to feel comfortable in their skin other than just underwear, but hopefully we're meeting them. And also that they can go out and do things and not worry about UTIs and not worry about, is this going to fail or am I going to get super clammy? And so it's really like that's what we do. And because of that, people step in and women step into to Brandwyn and it's like a safe space. Our our reviews, people are sharing super intimate details with us and with the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not sexualized because it's really around like you wear underwear so you can go do something, not so that you can, yeah, there's that side of it, but that's not what we're about. And so the second that you start to add men into it, it creates this entirely different dynamic and perspective. And so our decision was by and for women only. This is a space where women step in and we have women like doing yoga poses in their underwear. And you can because it's like coverage and it actually serves as like probably better than a lot of yoga clothes. And it's to show that it moves with our body, but it's not for like a sexual reason. It's really to
Mm-hmm.
show the performance of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so interesting. I had some light bulbs go off when you explained it that way. It's like, yeah, if you did add men into it, it would just completely change just everything. It would just change the story, right? And
Mhm.
it's so interesting the way that you just explained that. I never thought about that way. And now I'm thinking of like all the underwear companies that I shop with that have men and women's stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that is kind of awkward to like have
Mhm.
matching underwear with my husband or something like that. Is Brandwyn, would you consider Brandwyn an outdoor brand?
I do, but I think we're more than that. So the reason that we really started in outdoor, and the reason we did is because a lot of women in the outdoor industry or who play outdoors already had a relationship with wool. And so the thought of bringing wool in close to body, the first thing I hear is, isn't that itchy? And why would I do that? And so women who have already used wool as socks, as base layers, could wrap their head around it pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so really, I mean, when we started, there was nobody doing this and nobody talking about it. And so we really had to be forward with what the objections would be and meet them. And we have a 14-day first try guarantee. So most people will not take back a pair of underwear, but we just say go use it, try it, wash it. In 14 days, if you don't like it, you send it back, we won't charge you. And we also have a 1 year guarantee so that people go out and they use it. Like, because we know that women are going to buy it and they're going to do things in it, and it's built to stay up with them and to meet their demands. And so, but what we've found is that people buy it for a purpose, to go hiking, to go skiing, to travel, and then it turns into the only bra that they're wearing. And it's the most comfortable bra they've ever had. And so we're trying to figure out now, like, how do we branch out? It's still expensive, and it's not expensive because it's a luxury. It's expensive because it's really hard to make. And so somebody's probably going to have a reason to come in the first time, but then once they come in, they see, oh, it's actually a high value.
Hmm.
I'll keep it for a long time. I'll use it a lot. It's multi-purpose. I never have to think about it. And so it does have a much broader application.
I love that you guys have that return policy. I think that's so generous,
Hmm.
especially for like a smaller D2C brand. You know, you're not Amazon. You've probably seen the stories in the headlines of the Amazon pallets and people buying those and turning businesses because they just can't keep up with the amount of returns. And I do think in so many ways that behavior has really changed consumers, like just Amazon in general. People expect free shipping. They treat garments like, like trash, like totally, reusable. So that's my next question is with all of that behavior that really like Amazon's driving, all that customer behavior that Amazon's driving to, maximize profits because they're making it so stupid, simple, easy for customers to buy and return and buy again. Um, what have you learned from the brand one customer? Do people abuse this policy, or you feel like the customers that you're acquiring are generally um, are generally keeping it, and if they're not, maybe it's a size issue, but they're not kind of following that like buy, return, dump mentality, or has that crept in at all?
It- I mean, it's interesting. So, this is a little story about a small but mighty team. So, we have our customer happiness team, and we ramped up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday for ourselves. And then for some reason, we didn't think about the return period afterwards. And so last weekend, we get an SOS from one of them, like, there's a lot of people asking for where's my shipment, and because now everything's getting shipped and a lot of places are lacking workers, so movement's slower. And um, so I jumped in this weekend and did almost 2 full shifts of customer service. We call it customer happiness. So I was like in the trenches with them and seeing the way that our customers and community reach out to us. And I would say for the most part, everyone's super respectful. For a lot of them, it's a very thoughtful purchase. It's something that they've thought about for a long time. Buying a bra on the internet is hard. It's kind of scary. And when you're D2C and there is no like physical store validation of a product, it can feel like you're just sending your money into the ether world. And is there a person on the other side?
Hmm.
And so I always try to just put myself in their shoes, and I understand like it can be scary, and so our job is really just to meet them where they are, and um and to help them really feel like this is the right decision for them, and they're stepping into something that's good for them and that they deserve. So I would say there are fringe. There are definitely people who, I wouldn't say abuse it, but maybe who don't understand that buying a lot of product and returning a lot of product is really expensive and hard on a small business. And so
Hmm.
I would say, and so then for me, like that's really good for me to know. So if I am buying for someone, like anytime I return a product now, it's like hard on a business. And so
Hmm.
I think really it's like maybe educating people that while you can do it, it's much better to get all the information and to really decide what you want ahead of time,
Hmm.
even if it's Amazon, but for small businesses like us, it's expensive.
Well, yeah, and I think that that's like what I've learned too. But ignorance is bliss. I mean, it's not a good thing to there needs to just be generally more information out there because I feel like I mean that is Amazon's business model is they couldn't handle the amount of returns, so they don't even like process them and get them back on the shelves. But like yeah, for a small
Hmm.
direct to consumer brand, there's somebody who is taking that, making sure that the packaging it has to repackage it. BRANWYN's packaging for the record is absolutely beautiful, plastic free. Right. So like if a return comes through, that's I think of things that way too, because I work with a lot of small businesses, but that's you've got to replace the packaging. That's a cost to the business, right? Anyway, where I was
And you
going
have to
with this.
pay, have to pay shipping. So
Yeah.
if basically if somebody returns something like it, we and it hasn't been worn, and we repackage it, and it we we don't we probably lose money on it.
Uh-huh.
Or we break
Um,
even. And I'm not sure if we want to put that in the podcast. I mean,
I mean, it's
yeah,
real.
yeah.
I think it's like this knowledge. That's where I was going with it. I was one of those people. I feel like when I would return, I buy stuff from Amazon, didn't work out, I return it. I wouldn't think twice about it. Be like, somebody in Amazon's warehouse is going to get it back on the shelves and then it'll be off to the next person. And then come to find out that's like not how Amazon handles returns. Like they have
Mhm.
such a high volume of returns. They're putting this stuff on pallets and treating it as garbage, right? As discarded garbage, even though there's nothing wrong with it. And so, it's something that me as a conscious consumer, we're talking about sustainability. I know that's super important. You're like, that's not sustainable. Like that is
Mm-mm.
not sustainable at all. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with all this, but I love the conversation because I do think that people need to be there probably is just consumers don't understand
Mhm.
how hard returns are that like when you are buying something yeah exactly like do your research we were chatting before we started the podcast about the curling iron and I was like I can't buy it because if I it's too much of a risk if I don't like it then I know like I don't know. But I think where I'm going with this, I feel like you guys are so generous. You're doing these
Mhm.
14-day returns and then you have this um, 1 year warranty. And it must be because you just really believe in this product.
We do really believe. I will say here's where the challenge comes in. So there's two things. One is we believe in the product, and but we can't dictate how someone wears it. And so we guarantee it for a year. And but then what's normal wear for a bra or an underwear? Someone might wear it every day. Some people might wear it with really, like tight jeans, which will rub on it if it's underwear and it affects its longevity. And so it really gets into this gray area. And you really do not want to get into an argument with a customer about if
How
they've
they're
abused
using
their
their
underwear.
underwear.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Why take that bet then? Why at the end of the day do you offer that?
Well, partly because they are more expensive.
Hmm.
And again, like we don't charge, like somebody said, you're luxury. We're not luxury. Luxury is where you have something you pay $5 for it, you charge 5,000 because your brand like elevates it. Like ours just costs a lot to make because of how we make it. And so we have like in order for us to run the company and pay people, like we have to just charge what we charge. And we actually aren't going to wholesale because we would have to charge more. And oops, did you freeze?
Oh,
Oh, nope,
no.
you're there. Okay.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so uh And so when we started, it was really just letting people know that it was safe, it was okay, they could buy it, they could trust it. So it was really around this trust of the
Mhm.
product, trust of us.
No, I love it. I think it's so amazing. And it's so, you do that in so many different areas of the business. Like you
Hmm.
literally have on your website that customers can email you at any time about any question that they have, and you actually
Hmm.
invite it.
Hmm.
Even though you have a super long Q&A of all questions that they could ask. Anything else, email
Yeah.
us. Uh, in like radical transparency across your website about your sourcing and your supply chain. And I think it's amazing. I like that's where I guess that was my question. It's just like you guys are doing everything. Like you're doing so much for this customer. Again, lifetime warranties, free exchanges, 14-day try it, no questions asked, being wildly transparent. And so I guess my next question is, is that you guys are only direct to consumer? Is that how you build that relationship with that customer and keep them forever?
It
Is that a
is.
big
And
part of it?
yeah, I think it's it is our customer comes first. Our community comes first. We evolve or we revolve our entire business around that. And so when we talk to our customer happiness team, we have weekly meetings with them. And if there's anything less than a 5 star, which doesn't happen very often, we dissect it. We're like, okay, why did we communicate in a way that maybe didn't resonate? And I mean, we look at it line for line. And sometimes people are just like, I didn't get what I wanted. And we can't help that. But it starts with our community and our ethos that we support all women in all ways, always. And so anytime a woman steps into our ecosystem, we want her to feel seen exactly for who she is. So she doesn't have to be anything more. She doesn't have to do anything more. She can just show up as she is. Some days we're like barely getting out of bed. Some days we're like high-fiving each other because we just like, you know, did our PR somewhere. It all counts. And we really believe that. And um, so when we think about everything that we do, it's with that in mind. And then it's really this thought that if women could show up just as they were and put their time and energy into what really brings them passion and joy, like what a different place this world would be.
Mm-hmm.
And um and so that's why like our product starting with like creating it for her and her needs. I just don't know how many times in our life someone is like, I see you and I'm going to create something exactly for what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, like everything becomes easy and it becomes like we trust our customer. We trust our community. Do
Mm-hmm.
some people like fall out of that trust? Maybe, but they're the exception, not the rule.
Mm-hmm. It just made me think, one of our past clients, like Falling Digital's been around for 8 years now. So in one of those early years, we worked with a brand called Everviolet, and it was a lingerie brand that was made for women with breast cancer.
Hmm.
And one of the things I just have never forgotten, and you just brought that back to the forefront of my brain, but that's so much lingerie. Women don't know this, but like most of the lingerie that you own in your closet is made by men.
Hmm.
Which like just little things about like where the bra straps are, and like you can imagine a woman with cancer has scars and like can't lift her arms, and so it was like they were like, it's like thinking about where things should be so that the woman could access it, where it's like a man is that's why everything's all backwards and back here never really makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yep.
A man created this stuff. Um, And I love it. I love it. I love it because it's like, it's so hard to get right. It
Mm-hmm.
seems so easy, but like forever, I had been looking before I got turned on to BRANWYN. I had been looking for like literally what you offer, just a super simple bralette that I can wear from home, that I can work from home in. I don't want to be braless.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't want to wear pads and I don't want polyester. And it's like literally so simple, but it's so surprising that more companies either don't make this product or don't think about it that way. But you guys do. And so,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I think that's where it's kind of come full circle for me, where I'm like, uh, yeah, it's like the question is like, why focus on basics? Like, like there's so much competition. There's so
Mm-hmm.
much competition for basics for the category that you guys are in. So much
Mm-hmm.
competition, but it's also so hard to get right.
And I would say we get it right, and we have customers who hate it. Um and that's okay. Like it's not going to be for everyone. Um but and it's hard, like we have two bras and then we just added a third. And so to have like a bra that meets a lot of needs is also really challenging too. And so
All
it's not going to
bodies
be
are all different, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And there's a limitation of seamless. So it doesn't have bonding, it doesn't have structure the way that a cut and sew would. So cut and sew is you basically have the fabric and you sew it together. And so you can create, like some bras have like 100 different parts to them. And this one is just one piece of fabric. So there's only like physics, laws of physics. There's only so much we can do with our fabric and our bra. And it's not gonna meet everyone for every need that they have, but it does meet a lot of needs.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future episodes.